If you're looking at this hotel and thinking this could either be great or a really expensive mistake, you're not overthinking it. That's exactly how we felt too. We stayed here with our 9-year-old in January, and I'll show you what worked, what didn't, and whether or not this is actually worth it for families. Because when you're traveling with kids, what looks good online doesn't always feel good in real life. And there was one thing that we didn't expect that was more important than the room. The main reason we chose Hotel Kong Arthur was the location. It's close enough to walk to a lot of Copenhagen's main tourist sites, but it's just far enough out of the city centre that evenings felt quiet and relaxed, and with a child that made a huge difference. One of the first things that we noticed was the atmosphere. It didn't feel flashy or pretentious, it felt really relaxed and chilled out. Check-in was incredibly smooth, and they let us store our bags on arrival and the departure day. That made the first and last day so much easier with a child. No dragging suitcases around the city. They have this daily happy hour concept where you can grab a free glass of wine, a beer or a juice and get to know other guests or just have some really nice family time. And honestly, that quiet, cozy time became one of our favourite parts of the stay. We booked a triple room which cost us £667.82, and that was for 4 nights and didn't include breakfast. It's not luxury, but it's also not budget. I'd definitely say it's at the top end of mid-range hotels. Now, the room is the one thing that we tend to feel more nervous about when going away, because let's face it, if the room isn't nice, it can ruin the entire trip. The room had a large double bed and a single bed was set up right next to it. With the extra bed, the room obviously did feel a little bit tighter, but there was still plenty enough space to move around. Instead of a window, there were French doors which opened out onto the courtyard, perfect for fresh air or just watching the city wake up in the morning whilst having a coffee. The room also came with blackout curtains that worked incredibly well, so well in fact that we had to set up multiple alarms just to get us up in the morning. The bathroom was big and spacious with a rainfall shower, a hand shower, the water temperature was easy to control, the floors weren't slippery, and the toiletries were generally nice. Now, we stayed here in January, so it was incredibly cold outside, but the room stayed warm without it getting too hot at night time. One thing we didn't expect, but ended up valuing the most, was just how quiet it all was. We didn't hear any noise from outside or from any of the other rooms. It genuinely felt like we were the only guests in the hotel. Now, as I mentioned, we didn't originally book breakfast, but we did add it on for 2 of the mornings. The hotel offer a discounted family breakfast, and that came to around about £69 per day, and to be honest, for what you get, it's very expensive. Now, I am a little bit torn because the food itself was really good quality. Our son, he loved the waffle machine, but for the price, the selection did feel a little bit limited. Now, like I say, it wasn't bad, it did taste really nice, I just don't think it's great value. If we did stay again, we'd definitely skip breakfast here and just eat out instead, because let's face it, Copenhagen has so many great bakeries and cafes right around the city, and you'll probably save money. Location-wise, the Hotel Kong Arthur is a great choice for families. Everything felt walkable with a child, and public transport was easy. There's a metro station that's about a 9-minute walk away. Rosenborg Castle is just a 6-minute walk. Tivoli Gardens is about 20 minutes, and Nyhaven is around about 25 to 30 minute walk. There are also several restaurants just around the corner, such as pizza, tapas, Italian, sushi, which makes evenings much easier when everyone's tired. With a child, walkability changes everything. Fewer buses, fewer meltdowns, and of course, fewer are we there yet moments. It felt central without being hectic, which is exactly what we wanted. So is Hotel Kong Arthur worth it for families? For us, I would definitely say that it was, mainly because of the location, the calm atmosphere, and just how low stress it made the trip feel. And I also loved the free glass of wine. Now, it's not perfect and it's not cheap, so if you are traveling with a younger child or you've got more than one kid, I'd definitely recommend looking for a larger family room or an apartment instead. But for one child and a city break, this worked really well for us. There is a link below to the booking.com website if you are interested in this hotel. It is an affiliate link, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. It just helps to support the channel, and I really do appreciate it. And if you're torn between a few places and just want to know what to realistically expect, that's exactly what this channel is for. So if that's what you want, please do subscribe.